Hey friends, Tim here. Welcome to the Friday Drive, Christmas edition. And so, as you know, we're heading into the next year. 2024 is going to be a big year. I've been hounding you guys about your word for the year, but I want to talk about that just for a minute. That's the topic we're going to talk about today. So, your word for the year, as we've talked about in the past, people make New Year's resolutions. Resolutions set you up to fail because usually by day 30 you haven't gotten to them yet, or you've missed the mark somewhere and you kind of feel like, hey, this isn't working for us. So what we're doing is we're coming up with a word for the year that's just going to keep us in play. It's going to keep guiding our decisions, our thought patterns, and our actions, okay? How we work in the world, how we treat other people. And by the end of the year, if you're using that word the way we should be using it, then ultimately you're going to find that you're really successful at the end of the year because that word has guided you, okay? So it's a really big deal. I'm working on my word right now. I'm really, really close. I've got two now that I'm going through. I will reveal that to you guys next week. But when you're thinking about your word, it's really important that you think about it in the context of the 5 capitals, okay? And so the concept here is that word going to guide me? The 5 capitals are these: spiritual, relational, physical, intellectual, and financial, okay? And so when you think about these 5 things, think about your word through that lens, okay? My word through the lens of spiritual capital, purpose. When I get up every day, do I have something that I'm getting up for and I'm fighting for, that I know what I'm here for, right? That's number 1. We talk about this, the next one, relational capital. Whatever your word is, let's say your word is trustworthiness. I don't know. Are you trustworthy in those relationships? Are you building trust in those relationships? And that relational capital, that's what we're talking about, okay? If you think about the third one, it's physical. Physical is this idea of, it's measured in energy and time. And so am I doing the hard work? Am I getting the right amount of sleep? Am I working out every day? If it's, depending on what your word is, you want to think about that. Or does it drive you to get up every morning and exercise? Or does it drive you every night to go to bed on time so that you get a good night's rest and you have a lot to offer other people, okay? Number 4 is intellectual. So think about this. Am I learning? A couple weeks ago, I talked about this idea of one of the big habits of really effective leaders is they are perpetual, insatiable learners. They're always learning. Are you learning? Are you reading? Are you listening to podcasts? Are you watching other speakers who've been in your shoes before or going before you that you can learn from? And then lastly is financial, and they should be in this order, by the way. My word should fall through the financial lens as well, and it should be something that holds merit. So if my word's margin, for example, maybe I need to create a little bit of space in my budget so that I've got financial margin, right, in terms of what that looks like. So think of your word through those lenses, and that's really going to help you kind of test the metal of that word to see if it's going to do good work for you during this season. Okay? All right, next we're going to talk about Next Level Leader. We've got a new Next Level Leader that starts in February. We've got the landing page attached to this. You can sign up through the landing page. It's a great time if you've got people on your team, or you or anybody on your team wants to sign up for this. We take you through 12 months of really effective soft leadership skills and hard leadership skills. And these are things that we've been doing. We've got 2 running right now. This will be our 3rd one that we're doing. And the last one sold out pretty quick. So you're going to want to get your people into that if you can, all right? And then lastly, I've got a great podcast for you that's appropriate for what we're doing in this season. It's another Andy Stanley podcast. It just came out. It's about goal setting, but it's a different take on goal setting. I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. So please take the time to listen to it. I think it's about 20 minutes, so it's not a huge investment, but it's worth it going into next year. So, word for the year. Want to make sure we're looking through the 5 capitals, and we want to make sure you're listening to this podcast so you can think about who you want to be going into 2024. All right? Thanks for being here. I'm in Mexico, so I'll be back tomorrow. I can't wait to see you guys on our next call.